Anthony Joshua almost got into a fight with Jake Paul at the press conference. As soon as the face-off began, Joshua stepped forward because Jake Paul wouldn't stop talking. Jake kept running his mouth, and Joshua finally got fed up. He moved in quickly to confront him, and security had to step in before it became a real fight.
Humble yourself. Yes,
You're under his car.
You work for me Saturday night. I'm still your landlord. Yeah. Don't forget that. I'm still your landlord.
Spencer Oliver says that after watching the press conference, he really believes Jake Paul actually thinks he can just step in close and knock out Anthony Joshua. But in reality, that confidence will only lead to Joshua punishing him in the ring. Walking into Anthony Joshua's range is the fastest way to get knocked out.
I truly believe, watching the press conference yesterday, I truly believe that he believes he's going to win the fight. That he's got to just get into range, land a shot, and he'll knock Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua points out that Jake Paul keeps talking about his story and other fighters, as if that makes him tough. Joshua makes it clear that talking doesn't win fights, action does. While Jake Paul keeps running his mouth, Anthony Joshua is focused on showing what is actually accomplished in the ring.
It reminds me of like one of those budget YouTube hood movies where someone just talks about their whole life and what they've come from and talking as if they're from one of the ghettos in Iraq or Africa or somewhere like that. But you know, he's got a sob story, he's running by it, and that's what makes him feel better, so we respect it. I just kind of listened and said my piece.
And you said to him, what have you done? Tell us what you've done.
Because as I said, like, you line up all the heavyweights, he was just talking about, oh, he's this, he's that, he's that. I said, but why are you worrying about what someone else has done? What have you done?
Jake Paul is trying to sound confident, telling everyone he has a tough opponent and that fans should buy the pay-per-view. But in reality, he seems nervous and distracted, just talk with no real action. Spencer Oliver would say this only proves Jake Paul is all hype, while Anthony Joshua is ready to take over the moment they step into the ring.
In front of me, everyone needs to get the pay-per-view, the zone, pull up, be there. But man, I'm just focused on Chavez. He's a former world champion, and
Duke McKenzie says Jake Paul is an easy target, and promoters keep giving him soft fights just to boost his confidence.
Really well at it when I'm doing it, really. I'm just really hungry and motivated still.
Alexander Usyk makes it clear that Anthony Joshua is on a completely different level and could beat Jake Paul easily. He calls Jake Paul a showman and a YouTuber, not a real boxer. The gap in skill is obvious, and fans should understand that Joshua's experience and Olympic background put him in a totally different league from Jake Paul, who depends on hype and social media attention.
Anthony Joshua won. Anthony killed this guy. Listen, a lot of questions, blah blah blah. Only one my answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First. Jack Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, sure.
Eddie Hearn gives Jake Paul a bit of credit, but admits that when you watch him fight, it's clear the matchup isn't competitive. Anthony Joshua's talent completely outweighs Jake Paul's hype. Even fans who are just curious will see that Joshua is on a much higher level, and the idea of an upset isn't realistic, because all the skill, experience, and power are on Anthony Joshua's side.
So you have to give him credit, and I'm a big fan. I don't want to. When I watched it back, I was like, I saw a few people. Oh, Eddie's a hater. I'm not a hater. I think he's the goods, but I don't think that was.
Tony Bellew admits Jake Paul is better than people think, but he stresses that fighting Anthony Joshua is a completely different situation. Experience and class make all the difference, and Joshua can punish anyone who steps into his ring. Jake Paul might feel confident, but Joshua's skill, power, and timing will decide the outcome long before hype matters.
What people think he is. He is better than people think he is, but doesn't mean you can take on the former unified heavyweight champion of the world. I know some white-collar fighters who are really good, but you ain't getting in with me, and I'm 42. I'll take your whistle.
Derek Chisora believes this fight will be an easy night for Anthony Joshua. He says Jake Paul has no chance against someone of Joshua's caliber. Every step into the ring will show his limits, and Joshua will dominate without taking unnecessary risks. Fans should expect Jake Paul to be overwhelmed because Joshua's power, experience, and precision make him unstoppable. This fight will show why Anthony Joshua is a true heavyweight champion.
Easy fight for him, and I think it should be laid to rest, because I don't think Edge's going to go in and try and pat. Edge's going to like.
Don Charles admits his surprise that Jake Paul is even in the same ring as Anthony Joshua. The skill gap is huge, and it's almost unbelievable that a YouTuber would face a real champion. Joshua has real boxing credentials and experience that Jake Paul can't match. Even if the fight happens, everyone watching will see the mismatch. Joshua is ready to show why he's a top heavyweight, and Jake Paul is clearly out of his depth.
Surprised at that because you just wouldn't put Jake Paul in the same ring as Anthony Joshua, surely. But if it's for real, then it's for real. May the best man win. And I know, come on, gosh, this is like, the world has changed,
Adam Smith says Anthony Joshua can win whenever he wants. His skill and power are unmatched. The only question is how he will handle the fight and the early rounds. Jake Paul has no answer for Joshua's talent and conditioning. Even after a long break, Joshua's focus, timing, and power will make him dominate. Fans can expect a methodical but devastating performance that will leave Jake Paul completely overwhelmed.
Should win whenever he wants to win, but will he want to win early? Will he want to get some rounds in, being inactive for 14 months to prepare?
Adam Smith says Anthony Joshua can win whenever he wants. His skill and power are unmatched. The only question is how he will handle the fight and the early rounds. Jake Paul has no answer for Joshua's talent and conditioning. Even after a long break, Joshua's focus, timing, and power will make him dominate. Fans can expect a methodical but devastating performance that will leave Jake Paul.
Don't count him out. I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, we could have a big upset.
Spencer Oliver explains why he's confident in Anthony Joshua. He says Joshua's pride and determination make him unstoppable, and Jake Paul has no chance against someone so focused. Joshua will come out aggressive and in control, leaving Jake Paul struggling to keep up. Fans can expect Joshua to dominate every exchange, proving that hype and social media fame can't match real skill and power. Jake Paul is completely outclassed, and Joshua's intensity will decide the fight early.
Very close to the win picking Anthony Joshua because I know Joshua and I know him well. And he's a proud guy and he will not want to lose any respect from this. And he knows that he's got to get this job done. So expect to see an aggressive Anthony Joshua, which is only bad for Jake Paul.
Anthony Joshua makes it clear he's fully prepared and hungry for competition. He's focused on action and can't wait to prove himself in the ring. Jake Paul can hype himself all he wants, but Joshua is already planning how to dominate every exchange. This shows the difference between a real champion and a showman. Every step Joshua takes is calculated, and every punch has a purpose. Jake Paul doesn't have this kind of preparation or focus. Joshua's mindset and readiness make him a dangerous and unstoppable force, and fans are about to witness a masterclass.
Last fight, it's great. Because Anthony is Olympic champion, Francis Ngannou, it's second fight for boxing. Listen.
Derek Chisora warns that Anthony Joshua can't take it easy in this fight because Jake Paul won't last long against real power and skill. He says if the fight goes past a few rounds, people will question Jake Paul's credibility. Joshua has a history of finishing opponents decisively, and he can do the same here. Fans should expect Joshua to dominate early and clearly. Jake Paul is facing a fighter who hits hard, moves smart, and has championship experience, making it impossible for him to survive multiple rounds against Joshua.
I told Anthony, I already messaged Anthony as I listen. I tell you what, I said to AJ, if this goes past 5 rounds, everybody's gonna be having a go at you because you can't go past 5 rounds with this kid. He has to go past 1 round or 2 rounds. Past beyond 4 or 5 rounds, people are gonna be doubting you as a fighter himself. So he has to smoke him out like what he did Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia in 1 round.
The build-up to this fight has been full of hype and talk from Jake Paul, but everything points to Anthony Joshua dominating from the opening bell. Joshua's focus, experience, and power put him in a completely different league than Jake Paul, who depends on social media fame and overconfidence. Every analyst, trainer, and former champion agrees that Joshua is the real deal. His Olympic background, precision, and ability to finish fights make him nearly untouchable. Jake Paul might hope for a lucky punch, but Joshua controls the range, timing, and pace. The press conference antics and overconfidence from Jake Paul only show how unprepared he is for a real heavyweight. Fans should expect Joshua to be aggressive, methodical, and devastating in every round. This isn't just a fight, it's a lesson in what separates a true champion from a showman. Joshua has everything it takes to prove why he is at the top.